Welcome to the Booch's Bark Show. This is Booch, and I'm here with our guest, Chris Mock. And it appears Chris forgot something.
Russ.
Bring to the I'm sorry, Russ Mock. That was just stupid. Okay, Russ Mock. I don't know why I said Chris. Okay, Chris Rock. That's what I was thinking of. Okay.
I'll take that.
So, yeah. So Russ Mock, and we're ready to rock. Okay, so Russ, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're squatching thingamabobs. You live in where? New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I live in New Jersey. I'm a video game producer. I have a blog talk radio show called Cryptologic Radio with Shane Corson, Shelley Covington, Cindy Bowers, and Mike Richburg. So our mission statement basically is, logical and evidentiary-based, discourse about the cryptozoological field.
Well, that sounds fun. So, do you guys have a lot of viewers?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. It's getting better and better. We're getting some really good guests. We have some really good conversations. We had Ken Gerhardt on yesterday, so.
Awesome. You need another host?
Give me your, just send me your resume and I'll put it in there.
All right. I'll include a couple nudes in there too. Okay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
No, you should have. You really should have.
I don't want Blob Gimlet to jump all over my ass.
That misogynistic video that you ran recently, I love that. That was great. It was art.
Yeah, I've been kind of doing a lot of investigation around the field of Bigfootery because I want to write a book about it. And so basically, I've been speaking to a lot of Bigfooters, and it's just it's a weird field, and it's kind of a weird vibe. I don't know. It's the social media thing, I think, has a lot to do with what I'm getting. But there's a lot of infighting. There's a lot of backstabbing. You'll have everybody talking crap about everybody else, and it's funny in one respect, but in the other respect, it's kind of a shame that people couldn't be a little more civil to one another, I think as a result, we all look like we're a bunch of jackasses, just because nobody can get along and everybody's fighting over nothing, essentially.
Yeah, it's counterproductive and it makes everyone look less credible. So.
Absolutely, and this thing with this, there's a number of women, friends of mine who I've spoken to, and one friend of mine told me about an experience she had, and I was like, really? And she goes, oh yeah, I'm sure if you ask a lot of the other women in Bigfoot field, they'll say the same thing, and I did. And more, I kept getting these strange ass stories about, so and so, we were sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden, bam, this picture of his dick pops up on screen.
Oh.
And I'm like, really, and it's like, and it's just, and that's just not one person saying that. That's, it's just ridiculous. And
I've heard stories too. And then, you go to these get-togethers, these conferences, and it really is. It's just like, sometimes the atmosphere there is just like, the guys just want to do whatever they want, and it's like, they're all access to cut free and just think that they're alpha males, and that happens. It's rampant.
Yeah, and I just I don't begrudge anybody getting a little bit of tail. I mean. If you're talking with a woman and she wants you to send her a picture of your junk, and that's fine as long as it's consensual. But if the woman did not, because like I tell you, if the woman did not say, hey, do this, hey, I'm okay with this, before you send the pics, you're in the wrong, you know?
Yeah, that's not consensual.
No. And, you know, I mean, and I think it's part of the culture that we live in that, you know, you know, a woman gets raped and part of our culture tries to slut shame her for getting raped.
Right, and that shame should be on the perverts, not on the women.
Absolutely, and I think that slut shaming mentality is what has kept a lot of these women quiet. You know, the first woman that I spoke to about this, she said, you know, don't say anything, because if you do say anything, it's going to come back and it's going to bite me in the ass, and you know, and I'm going to get harassed big time. And I said, well, it shouldn't be like that. You know, I mean, we're all adults here, you know, and I look at women as my equals. I mean, I've got no problem with that. I'm not threatened by women. You know, I appreciate their contributions. One of my really good friends, Skyla, she was probably one of the top people when it came to getting to the bottom of what Rick Dyer was doing. She just had a knack for investigation, and brilliant mind on that woman. And I love her as a friend, and I appreciate her mind. When I'm doing my research for my book, I often you know, get a hold of her and ask her a question. Hey, can you find anything about this for me? And you know, she's more than happy to do so. And it's just she's my you know, friend, and she's my what's the word I'm looking for? She's my friend, and she's my colleague. There we go. She's my colleague, and I depend on her as much as she depends on me for, you know, finding things in this world. So, you know, it's just yeah, we need to start looking at women as our equals and not as, you know, our sex toys or you know, something to be used. And,
yeah. I agree. I mean, and you know, it's not, you know, it goes both ways too. You know, everyone, it should be equal for everyone. You know.
I don't know. In the video game industry, one video gamer, a woman, I don't know if you read it. She put out a really scathing article about the way she gets treated in the industry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
That's corporate America. That's all that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the mentality we're dealing with here in America. And I'm just sick and tired of that mentality. And if I can change that mentality, at least in one corner of my world, you know, that was my aim with that video. And I hope it does some good. I hope people take it to heart, and you know, I hope I've pissed off the right people.
Yeah, I hope you know, we see some action on that front. You know, some people coming out. You know, they'll hear what you said, and they'll really take it to heart, and something will click in their head, and you know, they'll come out and expose these perverts, because that's the only way that you can end this. You know what I mean? Is to shame the people that deserve the shaming.
Absolutely. You know, let their wives know what they're doing online, and you know, stuff like that. Yep. And so you do you have a history with Bigfooting? Are you just an enthusiast, or are you a person who's seen one? Or
yeah, I have seen one. I was in Pennsylvania. You know, I don't like to really go into it so much. I'm going to someday, probably on our show. But I really want to do it on my terms. You know, just for comfort's sake. But I mean, it was a daylight sighting. It was about 60 or 70 feet away, and it was unobscured. It was right there, and I had another person standing right next to me. So, you know, there wasn't much, you know, else. There's no room for misidentification or anything like that. But again, you know, there's no evidence for that. So really, what does talking about that? What does that do for anybody? What good does that do?
Well, it's anecdotal. It's anecdotal, and if you don't want to go into it, I just have to let you know here at Booch's Bark, waterboarding is always on the table.
I've always wanted to try that. After the gerbils and the duck meat, we'll go into the waterboarding. I'm fine with that. I'm down for anything tonight. So. All right. What do we have here on the table today? Hey, did you see that the video of the Bigfoot in the guy's backyard? Supposedly. Yeah. Supposedly, allegedly.
It
looks very much like some of the the less expensive costumes that that you can buy, and it doesn't look like anything viable. And even if it is something, still, what is video going to show you? Video is pretty inconclusive. You can't determine what's real or what's not real off of the video, unless you see obvious zippers or something. You know what I mean?
The thing that impressed me on that video was the guy's attention to detail. Did you see the fake penis on that thing?
No, I must have glazed over that.
Shoot.
Thankfully. All right.
Oh yeah, Bigfoot's not a small man. He's not a small guy apparently.
Oh well, according to Tom Cantrell, they're hung like horses. So.
Yeah. I gotta have that guy on my show one of these days.
Good luck.
Let's see the what's his name? That dummy up in Washington State, the stump squatch guy.
Waterman.
Ed Waterman. I've got water brains, Bigfoot bonanza, and I still forgot his name.
Are you bringing Advil to this conversation too? Because
Advil.
Yeah, because of you bring up Ed Waterman. That's giving everybody a headache.
Oh, absolutely. I'd like to get him on my show too. Just talk to him and say, well, so what's going on, man? What's going on? I had Rick Dyer on my show. 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. If you look at my list, I've got Rick Dyer. He came in and I was just kind of experimenting with the video podcast thing, and so he came on, and this is like right in the beginning stages of his hoax. Before it was like, I think 3 or 4 days before the movie came out. Yeah. And so he came in with all of his followers, and I go back and I watch it once in a while, because a lot of these people that were like, hey Rick, all of a sudden they're anti-Rick now, and you speak to a lot of these people, and there's I never really believed Rick. It was just something to do. It's like, okay, you were sucking his dick during the whole damn. The whole time lead up to the movie.
People forget that these things are all archived on Facebook and other places.
Oh, absolutely. And
I don't know. I never really. He all he was a circus performer. That's all he was really.
Yeah.
He demonstrated he was a hoaxer time and time again. So
he even admitted that
yes.
That he was going to hoax, and it was going to be his biggest hoax, and he told us exactly what he intended to accomplish with the hoax. And none of his followers, when I posted the link for them, wanted to say, "Oh, I don't have to listen to that. I'm not going to listen to it." Well, if you would have listened to it, it would have explained the whole entire hoax to you.
Anything after that is just giving the guy the attention he wants.
Yeah.
So why bother talking about it anymore, really, right? Who cares? He said he admitted he was a hoax. He admitted he was a hoaxer. So
I think it's important to talk about, because what it did, he did affect the community in a big way, because it opened the door for people like Waterman and Doc Johnson and Ontario Sasquatch, it empowered them and emboldened them to become a little more make wilder claims, just to
right, because if that dipshit can do it, then anybody can, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
you see the kind of thinking that goes on in the community, right? I mean, some people, I mean, it is almost religious. Some people, you know, they don't, if they don't have religion or they lack certain other beliefs, they'll just supplement those beliefs with other things. I mean, it's not anything that needs to be, you know, validated or supported with evidence for them. They just want to believe it, so they're going to believe it.
Yeah, I call them those people wannabe believers.
We call them spooners.
Spooners. What's the etymology behind that term?
Basically, you know, they think Bigfoot is some big, huggy, lovable teddy bear, and they just want to spoon with him.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know if you heard my appearance on the Joe show a few weeks ago.
I didn't.
Oh, I told Joe that if necessary, I'd even bet a female Sasquatch. You know, I mean, if you do it right, you don't have to kill the Sasquatch. If you do it right, she'll follow you around for a long time. You know,
like a puppy dog.
Oh, absolutely. You know,
all you gotta do is make sure that you have plenty of processed goods and plastic wrapped sweets.
Oh, absolutely. And peanut butter.
Those baiters. You know, that's a bit. I mean, that's a serious issue, though. Really, like those people, they go out there and, you know, they leave all kinds, like, seriously, processed foods and plastics, right? And
yeah.
It desensitizes the bears and the rest of the animals. They can get people, little kids, pets. They can get them all killed because of this. And plus, the plastic and the, you know, that goes through the ecosystem. You know, something, you know, a raccoon eats plastic. Something else eats the raccoon. Bear eats something else. It works its way up the ecosystem. It poisons everything. And they just, you know, it's fun. It's habituation, which is ridiculous because I don't know how you can compare yourself to Leakey's ladies, you know, in habituation. That's not habituation. That's not real. You know, that's not real research at all. You know, those people aren't scientists. You know, they're just leaving Lucky Charms on rocks.
Oh, absolutely. I'm expecting any day now to see a news story from Grants Pass, Oregon, about you know, local psychiatrist or psychologist gets mauled by a bear.
Yep. I hope Atlas stays safe. Please take care of Atlas.
Alice is the dog.
Yeah, Alice is the dog.
Yeah, I bet you that little fucker he's kind of looking a little fat, man. I'm thinking he's gnawing on some of this stuff.
They are dog bowls, after all. So.
Oh, absolutely. You know. Yeah, quit feeding your dog table scraps, Doc. You understand me?
I mean, and Adam Davies came out with his results, and they were dog hair, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I first suspected that, you know, when, you know, they had the video, and he was collecting specimens off of the jam or jelly jar, and he petted the dog right before he found the hair on the jar. Like, I don't know.
And we've analyzed the fingerprints in the jar, and they've turned out to be Doc Johnson.
Yay! All right. Send to the county sheriff's department.
Yeah, I know, man. But yeah, down in that area, apparently, also, if somebody does get mauled by a bear, it's going to take a hell of a lot of time to get emergency services up there because Oregon is such a broke state right now. There's a lot of counties that have absolutely no cops or firefighters.
Oh, really? So it's
and if they do have firefighters, it's all volunteer. And you know, and in the South, volunteer firefighting, it works great. And but I don't know how it works in Oregon. So, but Oregon's a bigger place than the states in the South. So, you know, it's going to be a while before somebody shows up in that area to put the guy back together after he'd been mauled by a bear.
I mean, hey, bears have a big range too, so it's not like they have to. Once they're desensitized, they can leave that area and wreak havoc anywhere else. So It's not like whatever he's doing is confined to his own area.
You know, Rangers go out, and when they get a report of a bear, the Rangers go out with they got a gun with a special round that's basically, it's like a bottle rocket. They fire the round toward the bear. The round goes out there, boom, explodes, and it's supposed to scare the bear away. Keep the bear afraid of people. And
it's like called like a bear blaster or something, right?
Yeah, and all these people are doing is just counteracting that. They're counteracting that effort. They do a lot of that around Yellowstone. They do a lot of that around the Yosemite. Just they work to keep the bears, out of the trash and away from the.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, Yellowstone, man, if you want to go throw something away in the garbage, you'd better be strong because you got to lift up one hell of a lid with a latch system. And but well, anyway, all right. What else? What else we see in the news today? Did you see that guy with a tiger?
The guy that got the drunk guy that got killed.
The guy that jumped in the tiger pen.
Yeah, didn't he die? Didn't he?
Yeah. The exact moment he got killed is when you see that tiger lean over him and bite his neck.
Yeah,
that's what they do. They bite the neck, and their teeth are designed to separate the vertebrae and sever the spinal cord. And that's exactly what the tiger did. And he dragged that little boy. They dragged that kid away, and that was pretty sad to see. But I mean, that's just kind of like that's what we see in the Bigfoot world is people with just that much sense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and it's not necessarily any fault unto their own, right? I mean, look at our society. We don't teach logic or critical thinking in schools, so these people aren't prepared, for I don't know, I guess challenging belief or having rational justifications for their belief.
Right.
So, people don't know what a syllogism is. So how can you construct a logical argument? People just equivocate. They just equivocate the term logic with, I don't know, common sense, and that's not what it is at all. Like logic is a scientific, scientific route to rationalize, claims and beliefs.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you speak out in a lot of these posts that we have on the various and different Facebook boards, and you're very articulate. And let me ask you a question. What is a syllogism?
A syllogism is just like it's like a scientific proof for logic. It's like the steps that you put together, your logical reasoning. So, because A is something, so B is something, so A equals B. I mean, that's a syllogism. There's 256 of them. I mean, people should be taught these things in school. They're viable ways to substantiate what's real in the world, and what's more important than truth and reality, right? I mean, when people have these beliefs that are unjustified or unverified or just unsound, then that doesn't just affect them. It doesn't just affect that one belief. Other beliefs that are unsound are piled on top of those, and those people affect the rest of the people around us. Their judgments in everyday life affect everyone else. It's not, people don't live in vacuums. So we should all do the best that we can to have the most accurate internal model of reality that we can.
Yeah, just remember, Ed Waterman's followers have equal voting rights.
Oh. Oh. God, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I can't take him serious. He can't be serious. If he's either delusional, I don't believe that he's delusional and that functional, that he can walk around with a camera and work a computer if you're that delusional. And if you're not that delusional, then what are you doing? Are you doing like a type study on, the community in general? Are you just, are you some kind of sociopath and you just, getting your kicks? Like, what's your deal? You can't take any of that seriously. I mean, he says stumps. He says Bigfoots turn into stumps when you look away. Like, really? Like they're like quantum locked, like something from Doctor Who. Like, give me a break. Yeah. What is that? What is that?
Well, I mean, I've had my experience, and I'll talk about mine. I've had my experience. I've had The one close face-to-face experience was my first experience when I was 12, and my second experience, my second experience, kind of brings up, hey, these creatures don't cloak, because if I was chasing one down in a Polaris, okay. He crossed the trail in front of me, and I just said, "Oh, screw it! I'm going to try to either run this guy over or do something, because I want a big, I want to prove this damn thing. And so I'm
get that type specimen, Booch.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going down the hill, and this is probably the stupidest thing, because I could have hit a stump and fucking killed myself. But I'm going down this hill, and this thing's keeping ahead of me just fine. And when I started closing with him, he dodged off to the side into a thicket of trees, and I couldn't follow him to a thicket, and he was gone. And I was thinking, if that guy, if he had the ability to hoax, it probably would have been advantageous for him to have done so early on in the chase, because I chased for probably about 400 or 500 yards, and if he could have cloaked, I'm sure he would have. I mean, that would have been a hell of a lot easier than running for his life down a hill through brush. And
yeah, and this cloaking thing, I don't even know, where does it come. People like to throw around the word quantum like it makes sense of everything, like your Deepak Chopra or your Lloyd Pye. You know what I mean? Like, those people are all, they just use word salad and scientific word salad in order to prey upon the scientifically ignorant, and they look up to these people. Oh, well, he said so. Look, he's got this evidence, and people don't know how to look at evidence and say if it's good or not. So
yeah, definitely. It's I'm disheartened at the amount of people that just don't have the. I mean, this basic stuff was taught, and I mean, at least for myself, I was taught all this basic, scientific method, the discovery, investigation. I was taught all this in grade school. That was the fundamentals for going further in science. By middle school, we were growing our own bacteria and cross-pollinating plants. And it's just maybe these people were too busy dissecting the contents of their own nose when they should have been paying attention. I don't know.
I mean, hey, just because you're part of the country. Is that grounded? I mean, doesn't mean other parts of the country are like that. I mean, look at Texas and look at the Dover trials for creationism and intelligent design wanting to creep into the science classrooms. I mean, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing.
Absolutely, and I'm hoping that maybe as a society, within my lifetime, we start drifting back toward being more scientific, and who knows? Maybe once we get,
the U.S. has a huge problem with that.
Yeah, it's like maybe once if we get a handle on it, we'll start leaving the planet and exploring other worlds. Who knows?
Yeah, you would like to think so, but I mean, look, we don't have, we were going to put a something similar to the Large Hadron Collider here, and we didn't. That funding fell through. So all of that is in, Switzerland and France now. So, we're kind of out of the picture on that. The NASA budget is crazy low. It's almost cut. So we really aren't a leader in science anymore. I mean, look at most of the the space launches are all private now. Like, I think only 10% of them are NASA funded. The rest of them are all private. So I mean, we're falling behind in that category in the world. So can you sit down and actually code a video game yourself? No, I'm not a programmer. So
Oh, okay.
I'm like the liaison between production and development.
Oh,
I keep the projects on track. It's project development, product development.
oh, because I'd like to see a funny Bigfoot game, where you where you have a whole bunch of woods and you go through a set of criteria, and it's like make it something along the lines of Grand Theft Auto. you know,
They actually Grand Theft Auto, the last one, Grand Theft Auto
yeah,
4. They had Sasquatch in the woods.
yeah. I saw. Yeah, I did that thing. You had to complete the game 100%, and then that little side game unlocks.
Yep.
Yep. And I almost had it done, and then the kids scratched the hell out of my Grand Theft Auto 5 disc. So, oh well.
But you can't shoot them. You can't shoot them in the game. What's up with that, man? Grand Theft Auto's no kill?
I
What
guess.
happened?
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. Well, actually, I think I saw a spoiler on the game where somebody actually went through it, and they did shoot the guy, but it was I'll spoil it. It was a guy in a costume.
Oh, really? I didn't think
Yeah,
you could. As soon as the crosshairs got on him, he jetted. That's what I saw.
yeah. But once you're in the final mission for him,
Uh-huh.
and where you can actually chase him down and such, it turns out it's a guy in a costume, and
See?
which I was disappointed. It's like, figures.
So
And
where do you stand on the whole no kill pro kill thing?
well, like I said, if you encounter a female Sasquatch, and I heard they smell cinnamony. I heard they smell like cinnamon, the female Sasquatches. So I suppose if they smell like wet dog and garbage, I maybe might not be so willing to do this. But like I said, if you can seduce a female Sasquatch, you don't have to kill it. But no, in all seriousness, I would rather not kill one, you know. But if the opportunity came up, and let's just solve this for once and for all, and let's put all these hoaxers out of business, then I'd have to do it.
Yeah, I don't even really care about, just putting it down, putting the myth or whatever it is down for once and for all. I just want, in the pursuit of knowledge, we should know what's around us.
Yeah,
People like to say, "Oh, Sasquatch, they're doing fine without us. They don't need our help." How do you know that? There's no demonstrable evidence to show that. You don't know that.
yeah,
Look at the rest of the population of big animals in North America, and the trend is that they aren't doing well. So odds are, you know, they're probably not either. And the only way to start conservation, if necessary, is to get a type specimen to science and have it scientifically acknowledged. I mean, that's logic right there. I don't know how you can
yep,
argue with that. And besides that, if you're sacrificing one, you're saving the many. So,
absolutely. Out here in Montana, our deer and elk herds are just like huge, and the reason why is there's not enough predators taking them down, and so every
yep.
hunting season there's just an immense number of tags being given out, and just to keep the herds culled down, and I was like in Helena, Montana, we have actually a local herd which comes into the city and
Hmm.
runs all over the streets and gets hit by cars and does property damage and such. And so
Oh, man.
every year the animal control people go out and put probably a couple hundred of these deer down just to control the population. And the meat actually goes to feed the poor, which is awesome.
Oh,
So
that's good.
oh yeah, and uh, so but
Sasquatch meat for all the poor. There we go.
so the ungulate population is doing great, but the large predator population is a little. What's that? Is somebody watching?
Is somebody watching? I don't know.
Oh, okay. Your phone's going off.
I thought you were getting paranoid for a second, Booch.
Oh no, if because every time somebody texts you, your phone vibrates and it comes right over the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I tried to shut it off.
No problem. But I was like thinking somebody was commenting along with the show. But let me see. Do we have any other things in the news that we're missing? Any other interests that you wanted to cover?
What else can we cover?
That's the problem with these free flow podcasts. Sometimes you'll come along to a doldrum where you're like, well, what else can we talk about? But it's not a problem, It's like I started this podcast basically as kind of something to do and somewhere people can get to know various members of the community. And right now, I think my biggest agenda as far as the show goes is basically showcasing people who do think and who do use critical thought and basically to show that hey, not all us Bigfooters are backwoods hicks with no common sense.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it's we've got to go ahead.
Have you seen Mark Zasky's proposal for his organization?
Oh, that's right. The one which leaves the burden of proof upon the not the claimant, but the challengers. Yeah.
Yes, which I don't understand at all, because if you're trying to change, a fundamental aspect, a foundation of science, right, like the burden of proof, then you leave science, unable to focus on claims and to distinguish if those claims are, fact or not. So why would you want to change a fundamental foundation of science just because you're not getting the results that you're looking for? Anecdotal evidence is anecdotal evidence. No one should believe anecdotal evidence. I mean, that's why I don't just throw my, my encounter story around, because, I don't want to be known. I don't want to be known for that, right? Who wants to be known for that? You can still be skeptical on everyone else's claims, even if you've had an encounter yourself, and you should be. I mean, that's the logical way to understand what's real and what's not, or what you can determine to be real at all.
Well, I've spoken about my encounters, and I think because I think they're important to me because they kind of explain where I'm coming from on this and why I'm interested in the field, and because if it wasn't for those encounters, I'd be one of those guys going, oh, those Bigfooters, a bunch of hoaxers and fakers, and it's like Bigfoot doesn't exist, but I saw the damn thing twice, and then I've had maybe encounters, a couple dozen times since, but and it's like my maybe encounters. There's a lot of my maybe encounters that if they would have happened to some of these people in this community, they would have said, oh, this is definitely proof of a Sasquatch. But these are my maybe encounters because I haven't ruled out, I don't think, I haven't ruled out other factors, in my maybe encounters, because there are, what I could have been hearing could have been, but I did not see them with my eyes. I heard them and, had things happen, rocks thrown and shit like that. But, so I can only say maybe, but, the maybe encounters, I don't mention those because, the maybe encounters are just, it's maybe. I can't say for definitely that it was a Sasquatch or it wasn't a Sasquatch. So, it's just where you're not talking about your definite encounters. I'm not talking about my maybe encounters for that same reason, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a good way to go about it, right? I mean, if you don't know what it was, I mean, you can't why make an assumption about what it was? Could have been anything. You know, all kinds of wildlife act in all kinds of strange ways sometimes. Like, you can never rule anything out. I mean, that's the other side of the coin, right? Is that you can never prove a negative, right? But when is the time to start believing in that negative, right? When there's empirical or demonstrable evidence to support that claim, not before, you know? I mean, it might be interesting and it might be something. I mean, that's fine if it's interesting to you and you want to have it as a hobby or look into it. I mean, I don't begrudge anybody that. That's cool. But, you know, I mean, to start actually believing in it, I mean, that's something different.
Absolutely. For example, when I was I was out in Kentucky for 4 years, managing a horse ranch, and excuse me, I was managing a horse ranch, and one day we had a new foal that had been born like a couple weeks prior, and I know we had coyotes around the area that if they were on the property, I'd be spotlighting coyotes at night and shooting them, and which was fun to do, and I could also sell the pelts. So one morning, I'm out calling the horses in for chow, and because in the summer nights we'd leave them out all night and then bring them in there during the day so people could ride them. And one morning I call the horses in for chow, and I don't see the mare and her foal, and I'm like, well, that's not right. And so so I go out in the field, and I grab my pistol and I go out in the field, and I'm thinking, maybe she got taken by a pack of coyotes at night or something. So I go out in the field, and well, I found the foal. She got herself caught up in the fence, and the mare was just standing worried about her. And so I got her out of the fence, and they went running back for chow. And well, apparently all of a sudden this like ungodly just screaming noise comes out of the woods, like about 100 feet away from me, comes out of the thicket of woods, and I stop, and I'm like, what the fuck, and I look, and this thing just screaming, right? And I look, and I was like, well, what the hell? And I'm jacked around in the fucking chamber of my pistol, and I go toward the woods to see what it is. And all of a sudden, this pack of coyotes just takes off the other direction. And they were basically watching the foal. And they were watching the foal, and and when I came there, I guess I kind of interrupted their breakfast plans or something. I don't know. So, but yeah, I jacked a couple shells after at the tail one, and Colt 45. I don't think I hit them, but
making sure they're not desensitized to the human presence, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, I respect wildlife, right? I don't go out and kill wildlife willy-nilly for sport,
Sure.
but the coyotes got, I know they're trying to eat and all that, but I don't want them eating my horses, so I had to shoot them. And yeah, because I've had friends who've lost young horses to dog packs and coyote packs and stuff, and it's not a pretty sight. So but yeah, that howling and screaming, man, I could have ran off the other way and go, man, there's a Bigfoot in them damn woods over there, But I had to investigate and see what it was, and I found out what it was. It was coyotes making a noise that I just never heard them make before. So
yeah, you couldn't tell what it was right off the bat, right?
No.
See?
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because that noise they were making. I mean, the better part of me said, run, right? But the other part of me that said, hey, you got a gun. Tell me, go in the woods and see what the hell that is. And so I did, But my visceral reaction was run, the fight or flight thing. But there's things in the woods that can make all sorts of noises and all sorts of weird sounds, and if you don't know what it is, you just can't, assume that it's going to be Bigfoot because, foxes also make some really fucked up noises in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, aren't they the progenitor for the some of the the women in white and the howling ladies of the forest kind of legends?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they sound like they're screaming babies or whatever. Sometimes it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. You recall about a year ago there was that reservation in was it Oregon? It was a Native American reservation in Oregon, and they said for like 2 or 3 days or something, there were these. They said Bigfoot was howling on the reservation for 2 or 3 days, and this one guy took a video of the howls, right? And I said, those are fucking coyotes, because I'd heard coyotes make that noise before,
Mm-hmm.
And that noise that whatever was making that noise sounded exactly like the noise I heard made in Kentucky. And I was like, no, that's coyotes. And everybody else is going, that's a Bigfoot howl. That's a Bigfoot howl. And I says, no, that sounds just like some coyotes that I heard out in Kentucky. Well, that's coyotes out in Kentucky. They wouldn't make that noise out here. Please.
I mean, that's completely interpretive. You know what I mean? You
can't
say what that is. You know what I mean? How do you argue with people about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can pass that info through a spectrometer and compare it to known coyote sounds, or take it to a wildlife biologist or somebody like that, and they could confirm what it is. But no, these people would rather, just believe.
They'd rather
they want to.
Yeah.
It's confirmation bias. They've been primed to look for that, so that's what they want to see.
Absolutely. Have you been following the Sasquatch Ontario guy at all?
I did for a while. I gave him a hard time a couple times, for a long time. But I don't know. People, it's just like the Dyer thing. He's a hoaxer. He doesn't have anything legitimate. Like,
absolutely.
If people want to take him seriously, then let them go take him seriously, because those people, they don't think critically. They don't use logic. They don't use reason. They don't use evidence. So we don't want them anyway, right? So let them chill with that guy. That's cool. Him and Timber Giant Bigfoot and the rest of them, right?
Yep. I watched an analysis of his talking Bigfoot one time, and all he did essentially was take a loop of sound that he'd recorded, and he'd place this little loop of sound throughout the rest of the recording, but he would run different filters on it. But if you looked at the fingerprint of the sound, it was the same exact sound as the original. And I'm arguing with this guy on Google Plus, and says, well, these creatures can make sounds we haven't heard before, and and all this, and we haven't studied. We don't know what they can do. And it's like, well, I'm pretty sure that, like the rest of the animal kingdom, they can't replicate noises exactly, because there's just too many variables when you're speaking. I mean, here, if I go like this, right? Right? And then 10 seconds later, you go, to you, they sound like the same exact sound, but because of the moisture in my throat, the different way that my vocal cord might vibrate for each, that sound has a different fingerprint each time.
Right.
And that's how you can tell when somebody's been dicking with sounds and looping sounds over and over again, because that same, you can look at the digital, you can look at the sound's fingerprint and figure it out. And
plus he had all those pictures. They looked like teddy bear and taxidermy eyes. And then there were some pictures that were taken inside of a cabin. You could see they were inside of a cabin. So
there was goldfish eyes.
Yeah,
there was goldfish eyes. There was the eyes of what looked like a pool. There was eyes of what looked like a tabby cat. There was eyes, and he was calling these all Bigfoot selfies.
But then later he turned it around and he said, "Oh, I never said that those were Bigfoot pictures of Bigfoot eyes. I said that Bigfoot took those pictures. Like, they get stuck into a corner, and they create some other passable explanation to some people, I guess.
So I guess the lesson we can learn off this is that is that don't believe everything you're told, and and not everything's a Bigfoot. And
yeah, I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to people like Steve Coles and Randy Filipovic, for busting people like that. I know it's not an easy thing to go find. You could say someone is hoaxing, and look at that. Do you really think that is real? But again, you're making a claim now. You're saying they're a hoaxer. So now the burden of proof is now upon you. So you need to provide that evidence. And they go and they dig the shit out of that evidence. And it's not an easy task. It takes them a while. And I respect people like that more than anything. I hope they continue, and we see more and more of that in the future, because there's people around the community that just they don't understand. They just want to pander their goods and be the next special person or monetize their YouTube account or whatever.
Yeah, it's gotten to be goddamn ridiculous. Or what John Wayne is getting to be goddamn ridiculous. But all right, well, it's probably pretty late where you're at. I know it's about 10 o'clock here. Yep, 10:02.
Yep, it's midnight here.
So I'll let you get out of here and probably get yourself to bed. You probably got to go to work early or something.
Yep.
So myself, I got tomorrow off, so I'm good. But
lucky bastard. You're gonna hog all the gerbils and duct tape now, aren't you?
Damn right. And I'm gonna take all the internet time that you're not using.
Damn. But all right. Well, thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for being on. I appreciate the conversation with you. Yeah.
I really appreciate what you're doing. Talking to people that use critical thinking and logic, and trying to get the better view of the community than just the natural chaff that's out there.
And try to pitch that idea for me if you can. The hunting Bigfoot game, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll write up a game design document, and I'll send you a contract over immediately.
All right. We're gonna be rich.
You got to sign an NDA though.
Oh man, really? Damn it! All right.
Bro.
All right, man. Hey, you take care, and thank you for sitting here chatting with me. This is the Booch's Bark Show, and this has been Don Booch, and I'm my guest Russ Mock. And have a good night. And have what was it? Happy squatching? What I used to say.
Go find some evidence.
Yeah, go find some evidence. And happy squatching. All right, good night.